Alright, so gonna do a quick review on my setup. So when we bought this house, this thing was already installed. You can see how old it is, but it's a pulsive box, and it says it has a 15-mile range. It works very well as far as I have tested it, and the cows, it's pretty much just plugged here to this outlet. And so there's two connectors, one which is the hot wire, and you can see it goes all the way up there, and then it runs around my perimeter of the house, and so that way I can keep the cows away from the fence. And then this one is the ground, and I'm gonna show you how the ground works, because that's the only two things you have to plug. That goes to the ground, and then the other one's your hot wire. And I mean, basically just following this book, let's see it right here. So this is the setup. So you have your box and then your ground. You set up 3 rods, 6 feet depth, and then 10 feet apart. So I mean, this is kind of old, but you're gonna be able to see this is one rod right there. Yeah, that's sure right here. So that's it, and then there it goes. Follow the line. There's another one down here, and then if I follow the line, there's another one up there. All right, so there's a few benefits about electric wire, and one of them is that it doesn't harm the animals. Like once they get a shock once, like they understand how it works, and they pretty much don't touch it again. Versus barbed wire, I seen the cows run into it even after they know they can get hurt. So that's why I opt to do an electric wire. Especially, it's a lot cheaper, and once you install it correctly, it works very well. So right now this is the line that was running from the other side, and I'm gonna put the fence on this side. But right now this is my fence that I built over the summer, and in order to protect it from getting the cows to run into it, so I put a line that goes around it, and it has this plastic insulator so it doesn't touch the wood. You don't want it to touch the wood, and then they don't get close to the fence anymore. So that's pretty much one application for this wire. So I only need one. And then if you look at it, I have another line that goes through here, and it connects. It goes under my gate, and then it connects here to my other post, and it creates another line, and then I can run it all the way up the field. So that's kind of how it works. So if you're building a gate, this is kind of like a good setup. You run your wire underneath, your hot wire. So I use this wire, and it runs along the post underneath the ground, and then as you can see, and then it comes out of this post, and it loops around, so you can see. And then I use it on my fence, just so the cows don't lean on the wood, because this is old wood. I just reused it from whatever was already here on the barn, and I don't want them to lean on it very much, but the electric wire should be able to keep them away from it. So one of the benefits of having the electric wire is that I can easily grab a poly wire just like this one, and then hook it up, and then I already close the gate right there. So there is a kind of an invisible, but you can see there is the plastic insulator hooked to a barbed wire right there, and it creates a gate right there. It's a closed gate, so if the cows try to come in, they're gonna get shocked, or they can't get out. They're like trapped right here. So that's one easy way to close the gate. So the way the book says to put it is the height of this for cows should be kind of their back, just so you know they can touch it with their nose. if they touch it behind their head, they'll run forward. I mean, it's not like they're gonna run against the fence, but this wire keeps them from touching the actual fence and posts, because otherwise they like to scratch themselves. If you put something like this one's too close to the post and it's gonna be touching the fence, your hot wire is not gonna work. There has to be a little bit of a gap in between, as you can see right here, hot wire, fence. So that's why these insulators that stick out work very well. And then for the corners, I DIY this thing right here just so I can have more pressure. Those plastic insulators don't do very well on the corners. They bend quite a bit. I just like cut these post ends and then put it in there. So as you can see, the wire runs along the fence and I put an insulator every 4 posts, so every 40 feet apart, and it works just fine. I mean, if I see that they're touching the fence, I can put one in the middle. But yeah, so far it works well. So this right here, I had my line here the first time I put it, and maybe you can see there in the ground where the line used to be. And the first time I put it, I put 3 wires, and I stayed on the other side of the fence of the wire until the cows kind of like reached to me, because they come over every time you're like gonna feed them something. They come over, and so they came over, and then they kind of like touched the wire, and they kind of understood that that was a boundary. So that was the first time they touched hot wire, and it works so far. The first time I did 3 lines, which was like hot, ground, and then I did hot. But I mean, for this other one, all I did is I hook this insulator skates. So you see that? So I pretty much hook it right there, and then I hook one to the ground, and then I run them in parallel all the way to the other side. So there is a T-post in the way, and this is about all the way over there. I think it's about 440 feet. So I only have 2 guys in the middle holding the wires, and as you can see, the bottom one is about just below my knee, and then the top one is right below my hip, and that works just fine for them. I mean, it could probably be higher, but again, I think it works fine. And I only needed like 2 guys to support the wires in the middle. The T-post, I don't recommend it, but the plastic one works just fine, and it's really easy to move. And then on the other side, they're just hanging to one of the T-posts that is on the other side of the fence. And then in order to tighten it, I bought these sets right here. You can buy these on Amazon. I think they sell them for like 12 bucks. And then you just put it here, and then you just tighten it once you install it, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't really take very much, and they really respect this quite a bit. Alright, so how do you know there's short on your fence? Normally you hear this noise. Not sure if you can hear it, but it's right here. You see, I didn't place this one right where it goes. So if I move it a little lower, it should probably just be fine. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Come on, okay, that's it. But you can see the part where you got it. Another way of doing it, I'm not gonna do it right now. Let's use this post. You can't go wrong with these ones. $2. I got one up there. I was using the T-post because that's what I got, but then these are so easy to move. A really nice thing about these gates is that if I wanted to cross over, all I have to do is pull it out, and I can easily step through the bottom and then pull it back in and then hook it. And that's it. I'm on the other side. and the cows stay on the other side, of course.